Ukraine is now implementing several new techniques.
Ukraine has stopped issuing new passports.
Hello guys, Olga with you, and this video I want to talk about drafting Ukrainian men to the army. It's a very interesting topic due to the current state of mobilization process in Ukraine, which looks quite extraordinary, and it's really interesting to talk about that. In previous videos, I mentioned that many of my friends, women, avoid going outside with their men because they're afraid, like full families, for example, because they're afraid that men could be brutally grabbed on the street, put in a vehicle, and then potentially sent to the front line in a short time, and they will never see them again. And many express their fear that the fear of rockets in the middle of nights is much less for them than fear their husband will be taken from them out of nothing in the middle of the day. So that's the current situation which many of my friends are facing, but this is just one side of the story. And in this video, I want to show you all the sides. Okay, so currently we have, I would say, 3 categories of men in Ukraine. So the first category, this is men who have been fighting on the front line since the war began. Unfortunately, currently they have one-way ticket. There are no contracts specifying when they can end their service and return to their families. They're expected to fight indefinitely until they're killed, captured, or seriously injured. Then we have a second category. This is men who are present in Ukraine and they potentially need to replace those who are currently on the front lines. And the third category, this is men who are abroad, where there is no procedure actually to compel them to come and fight. Despite 10 years of war in Ukraine, our military still lacks the electronic registry. So actually, all the information about military obligated men are stored in the papers and folders. So it's quite manually processed. And if you want to find anybody, if you want to take the data of all people who are right now ready to fight, have the right education and health and all other conditions, it's very hard to make because it's all manually. Somebody need to check it in the time of computer. Yes, it wasn't done for a reason or another, but that's true. So our government now decide that I guess they really need to make this register urgently, and they force all the men who are in Ukraine and abroad, all Ukrainians, voluntarily put their data into electronic register, which is still under development, so it still doesn't exist even, but they force everybody to sign there and update their information. Recently, our president signed a new law intended to regulate questions about demobilization, but the provision was excluded at the last moment. Thus, men on the front line still have only one-way ticket, and this first category of men that I was talking about is still there. There's nothing changed for them. For 2 other categories, men inside of Ukraine but not on the front lines, and the men outside of Ukraine, it's more crazy. So for all men, there is a rush to create an electronic registry of military eligible men with useful information. From now on, they need to update their information voluntarily in this still developing electronic system and have proof of such actions. From that time, police can stop them on the street and ask the proof of registration. If they refuse to volunteer this information, the government will freeze their bank account, they can confiscate their driving license and impose other kind of limitations and sanctions. The only lucky one seems in all these things was the men who are abroad, because even if they didn't do anything, how government can catch them? And here's when it gets crazier, day by day. So first, they announced Ukraine will not provide any consular services to men without military documents. And this essentially means that they will not replace the passports of the people if they're old and expires. And all men rushed to every possible office that could take applications for Ukrainian passports to apply before the new law takes effect on May 18. Then, a couple of days after, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs came up with a new idea. They will stop accepting applications until the new law takes effect. And the next day, after this crazy update, they brought another bombshell. No man will get their documents outside of Ukraine. If they need anything, they have to come back to Ukraine to get it. And once they're in, for sure they will not be able to get out. So guys, that's the current situation. Write me please in the comments what do you think about this news, and if you would like to see more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe on my channel.